We all loved watching TV in the 80s, but at times we would get very upset because there would be some annoying ugly kid on the show. I'm going to look at 10 kids I hated in the 80s. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. We're going to go back to the 80s and talk about kids that I just couldn't stand the sight of. Sometimes I didn't even have a good reason. I just didn't like looking at them. You ever just find people annoying? Even in real life, there's just some people you look at and you're like, I don't like that guy. You know, kind of like Chris Evans. Just that face makes you go, oh. So we're going to look at 10 child actors from the 80s. That's right, I'm going to pick on kids. I guess I'm asking to be demonetized with this video here. But we're going to look at child stars of the 80s. Some of them might be 70s, but most of them is going to be in the 80s that I just couldn't stand the sight of. And it would upset me all day if I just saw them. And let's start with number 10. And this one, you could argue is more 90s. I think the show she was on came out in 89. She was always in some TV movie of the week. The TV show was called Life Goes On. Or as we call it around my house, The Corky Show. Remember The Corky Show? Well, he had a sister on it and she was annoying. Her name was Kelly Martin in real life. I don't know what her name was on the show. Maybe Corkyette, I'm not really sure, but hey, they try to make her cute and nerdy, but she just looked like the type of girl that would take your name when the teacher left the room and she started writing out people that talked or got up out of their desk. I really hated this girl. She had these big old wire frame glasses and everything. She was always worried about Chad Lowe had AIDS, or she had AIDS, or Chad Lowe got AIDS or something. I don't know. I just really could. I was hoping Corky would go into a rager and just beat her to death in an episode, and that would have been a great season finale. If Corky just bashed her face in, that would have been a great episode. Whew, I really hated her. She, like I said, she's like every other movie of the week she was in. One week she was in it, and the next week would be what? Tracy Gold would be in the next one. She didn't make my list. She probably could have also. But at number 8, it's that girl from The Corky Show. And at number 9, Kim Richards. I'm not sure if you remember her. She was the little blonde-headed girl from those Escape from Witch Mountain movies. I don't know why she annoyed me. Well, I kind of do. We'll get into that. But she was in Escape from those Witch Mountain movies. Escape to Witch Mountain. Escape from Witch Mountain. Escape to Witch Mountain. She was always escaping the Witch Mountain. But, okay, I'll be honest here. She reminded me of a girl that lived in the neighborhood that looked kind of like her. Well, she was probably about 3 years older than me. And when me and my friend Boyd would walk around the neighborhood, she would sometimes come to our house and bully us and twist her arms behind our back and tell her to stay off her road. So maybe I just used that against this girl, and I shouldn't have. But with Kim Richards, I did kind of come around in the late 80s where she started, I didn't see her as much, and she started looking kind of hot. So she went from annoying, to, hey, she's kind of hot. But I still don't like those Witch Mountain movies. Number 8, Jason Hervey. You may remember this kid better as Fred Savage's older brother from Wonder Years, but to me, he'll always be that spoiled kid that had Pee-wee's bike and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This kid always just looked like an asshole, and I guess that's what he played to. It seemed like everything he was in, he was an asshole, and so that made me just not like him. You know, it's kind of like the bully guy from the Karate Kid movies. He was in a lot of stuff playing the bully, and I just really hated the look of this kid. I don't know. He played I give it to him. He looked like a snobby brat. So I just really hated the look of this kid. Ugh. Number 7, and this was definitely more 70s, Leif Garrett. Remember Leif Garrett? He was a hot throb back in the 70s. And I really had nothing against him. I didn't really listen to his music. But my sister had posters of him all over the wall and had magazines of him. And he reminded me of this girl named Jennifer. That was this girl I went to school with. She was the spitting image of Leif Garrett. And I had a crush on this girl for a couple of years. She was beautiful. And then I would see those posters of Leif Garrett. I would just get so confused I would end up getting angry. Does that mean I like Leif Garrett or I didn't like it? Okay, let's talk about this kid. This Brady Bunch wannabe. Adam Rich. I don't even know what he was in. Maybe he was in Is Enough. He was one of those. He'd show up on Love Boat, show up on Family Feud, show up on the Barbara Mandrell show. He'd show up somewhere, some variety show. He would show up in it. I just hated his haircut. Hated his haircut. Hated his freckle face. And I would just see him on TV. And I would, sometimes I remember one time I threw my shoe at the television. I saw him. He is so ugly. I just couldn't stand the look of him. Again, I don't really have good reasons for these. I just don't like these kids. Now, I hope I got this name right, John P. Nevin. Remember this guy from the Vacation movies? He was Cousin Eddie's son. And it seemed like I would see him and stuff every now and then. I don't know what else he was in, but I'm sure I've seen him before. And like the guy from The Wonder Years, he just has that asshole look. He just has that, it just looks like somebody in real life I just wouldn't like. Again, it's probably because he's playing type to that character. I'm sure in real life he was a pretty swell dude. But whenever I saw him, it just made me upset and angry. It just don't like looking at assholes. And I've seen a lot of assholes in my life. Hell, I see an asshole every time I look in the mirror. Here's one you may not know the name of, Megan Follows. She may have done more stuff, but I know her from one episode of Facts of Life, where she played Joe's little sister. Maybe it was a little cousin, I don't remember. But she played Joe's little something. And as a guy growing up in the 80s, I liked Joe the best out of Facts of Life. I wasn't a Blair type of guy. I liked Joe. Let you go ride skateboard or motorcycles with you and stuff. And she was pretty hot. So when they brought in her little cousin or sister or whatever, it was probably more my age, I was excited. I was like, whoa, a little Joe. It's my age. I can relate to this. She was annoying and ugly. Ended up turning the episode off halfway through it, and I never watched the show again. I just really hate the look of this girl. She kind of looked like a boy, and let's be honest, she looked like she wasn't cooked all the way. You know, it's like she wasn't through when they gave birth to her. Like, hey, put her back in the oven for a few more months, because it doesn't look like she got done yet. Ugh. Tina Yothers. And boy, did I love watching Family Ties. Mostly for Justine Bateman. And sometimes for Skippy. Oh, Skippy was funny. But Tina Yothers started out in the first season being the ugliest little girl on television you've ever seen. And then in the later episodes, they tried to hotten her up a little bit. Put a lot of makeup on her and teased her hair. And they tried to give her a Sally Struthers look. But it didn't come off as the cute Sally Struthers. No, it came off as the 80s. I'm fat and I'm begging you to feed these poor kids Sally Struthers. Whoa. Tina Yothers. Even back then she was the butt of jokes. Everybody knew she was the ugly girl on Family Ties. Danny Cucci. Number 2 on my list. Oh, I don't even know what to say about this kid. I hate him. Now, I know he was in Terminator and everything, and that made him kind of cool for at least one summer, but in the 80s, he was on different strokes. They kind of brought him in when Arnold was getting a little too old to be the cute Arnold. What you talking about? Wasn't cute anymore, so they brought this little redheaded kid out. And you know, as my dad said, I'd rather be dead than red on the head. And that's true when it comes to Danny Gucci. I mean, I saw him singing the song Swangin' by John Anderson on the Barbara Mandrell show, and it just stuck in my head how much I hated this kid. Then, hate him. I just hate this kid. I know I shouldn't want to punch a kid in the face, but I just be so... Come on, let me just punch one kid. Let me get a time machine, go back and punch one kid. It'd be this kid, please. And now, the number 1 most annoying kid in the 80s that I just hated. Hated the sight of. And I don't even know his name. I wouldn't see him until about 1 o'clock in the morning. He would come on TV and try to sell me encyclopedias, and he was a smart ass. He was always like, oh, this is the part where you're going to tell me the 800 number to call. Oh, there it is. This kid was so annoying. You know what I'm talking about? Let's watch the commercial.
Remember me? I'm the kid that had a report due on space. Then I got the new Encyclopedia Britannica.
He had a report due on space, and then he got the new Encyclopedia...
I think I made that abundantly clear.
Yes.
Anyhow, here it is. I mean, hey, everybody knows this is the greatest encyclopedia in the world. Help me get a B+.
Why not an A?
Too long. I found so much great information I put it all in. Overkill. The next report I did was for my science class on the human body. Scored an A.
Good.
Look at this. I always wondered where my mandibula was.
For details on how you can own the new Encyclopedia Britannica...
Let's have that 800 number. Excellent.
Just call this number and we'll send you this free booklet.
Tell them about the gift.
And just for previewing Britannica in your home, we'll give you this 3-volume desk reference set.
This is like having your own research library at home.
Yes. So if you would be interested in owning the new Encyclopedia Britannica...
Don't press. They see the phone number. If they want to, they'll call.
I guess you're right.
Trust me.
See? Is it just me? Is it just me? Does anybody else find this kid annoying? He's just a smart ass. I hated this kid. I know he thinks he's Parker Lewis, but no, he wasn't Parker Lewis. He was a Parker Lewis wannabe. And that's pretty bad because Parker Lewis was a Ferris Bueller wannabe. Teen kids, this one probably annoyed me the most. Again, because they would just come on randomly at like 1 o'clock in the morning. At least the other ones I could kind of almost avoid. Tina Yothers, she was kind of hard to avoid because I wanted to look at Justine Bateman. Whew. The other ones, I knew what time they'd be on TV. So I could just turn the TV if I didn't want to see them. Every once in a while they'd pop up on Love Boat Fantasy Island or something and sit me into a fit of rage. But this kid, he'd just pop up at 1 o'clock in the morning. It didn't even matter what channel. He would just come on and be a smartass right there to me. I feel sorry for the announcer guy in the commercial. He was a jackass to that guy. The guy was just trying to sell some encyclopedias over the phone line instead of going door to door. He was trying to do something different. This kid was annoying about it. Anyway, that's 10 kids I hated back in the 80s. Let me know in the comments below. Maybe some kids you hated in the 80s. Hell, you can let me know some kids you hate today. Celebrities or just kids in your neighborhood. Just let me know some kids you hate. Hey, could be even your own kids. Well, I want to thank you for watching. As always, thumbs up on my content. Subscribe to the channel. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.